Welcome to Knights Templar Revelations, where the ancient secrets of a legendary brotherhood are unveiled. I am a Knight Templar, a guardian of the hidden truths that have survived the ages. Contrary to the tales written in history books, our order was never truly vanquished. We have remained in the shadows, preserving our knowledge and protecting the revelations that hold the keys to understanding our past, present and future. For centuries, the Templars have been shrouded in mystery, their true purpose and wisdom concealed from the world. But now the time has come to lift the veil. On this channel, I will guide you through the enigmatic legacy of the Knights Templar, revealing the profound secrets and insights that have been kept hidden from the unworthy. This is not merely a recounting of history. It is a journey into the depths of knowledge that only a select few have been privileged to witness. We will explore the cryptic symbols, the sacred rituals, and the timeless wisdom that the Templars have safeguarded through the centuries. If you seek the truth, if you yearn for knowledge that transcends the ordinary, then you have come to the right place. Together, we will unravel the mysteries and uncover the revelations that the Templars have guarded with their lives. Prepare yourself for a journey unlike any other as we delve into the hidden truths and ancient wisdom that have the power to change your understanding of the world. Welcome, seeker of truth, the revelations await. The Nephilim are enigmatic figures within the biblical tradition, often depicted as giants with extraordinary abilities and significant moral corruption. Their origins and characteristics are intricately linked to the narrative of the fallen angels, or Watchers, who descended to earth and took human wives, as described in the Book of Enoch and briefly referenced in the canonical Book of Genesis. Understanding the Nephilim requires a comprehensive exploration of these sources and the broader context of ancient Near Eastern traditions. The primary biblical reference to the Nephilim is found in Genesis chapter 6, verses 1 to 4, which outlines their origins and their association with the sons of God, interpreted by many as the Watchers and human women. This passage reads, "When human beings began to increase in number on the earth and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful, and they married any of them they chose. Then the Lord said, 'My spirit will not contend with humans forever, for they are mortal. Their days will be 120 years.'" The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them. They were the heroes of old, men of renown. This brief but significant passage introduces the Nephilim as the offspring of the union between the sons of God and human women. The term Nephilim is often translated as giants, though the precise meaning of the word is debated. It is derived from the Hebrew root NPL, which means to fall, leading some scholars to interpret Nephilim as the fallen ones. The Book of Enoch provides a more detailed account of the Nephilim's origins, describing how the Watchers, led by Semiaza, descended to earth, took human wives and produced a race of giants. These giants, or Nephilim, are depicted as possessing immense physical strength and stature, as well as a propensity for violence and wickedness. And they became pregnant, and they bare great giants whose height was 3,000 ells, who consumed all the acquisitions of men. And when men could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against them and devoured mankind. And they began to sin against birds and beasts and reptiles and fish, and to devour one another's flesh and drink the blood. Then the earth laid accusation against the lawless ones. 1 Enoch 7:26. This account emphasizes the catastrophic impact of the Nephilim on humanity and the natural world. Their insatiable appetites and violent behavior lead to widespread destruction and necessitate divine intervention. The Nephilim are characterized by their extraordinary physical attributes, moral corruption, and significant influence on ancient human societies. These characteristics are detailed in both the biblical text and the apocryphal literature. Physical stature and strength. The most notable characteristic of the Nephilim is their immense physical stature and strength. Described as giants, they are said to possess a height and power far exceeding that of ordinary humans. The exaggerated descriptions found in the Book of Enoch, where their height is given as 3,000 ells, underscore their monstrous size and the threat they pose to humanity. This physical prowess enables them to dominate and subjugate human populations, contributing to their reputation as heroes of old, men of renown. Moral corruption and violence. Despite their physical might, the Nephilim are primarily known for their moral corruption and propensity for violence. The narrative in the Book of Enoch highlights their role in spreading sin and lawlessness across the earth. Their cannibalistic tendencies as they turn against humans and other creatures, and their engagement in bloodshed and depravity illustrate their departure from divine order and morality. This moral corruption is further emphasized by their association with the Watchers, who impart forbidden knowledge and practices to humanity. The Nephilim, as the offspring of these illicit unions, inherit and amplify the wickedness introduced by their angelic progenitors. Their actions contribute to the overall decline of human societies and the escalation of divine judgment. Cultural influence and renown. The Nephilim are also noted for their significant influence on ancient human cultures, referred to as heroes of old and men of renown in Genesis 6:4. They are depicted as figures of great importance and legendary status. This dual aspect of their identity, as both revered and feared, reflects their complex legacy in ancient narratives. They are simultaneously seen as mighty warriors and as sources of corruption and chaos. Their legendary status suggests that they were remembered in ancient traditions and possibly deified or mythologized by various cultures. The blending of their historical and mythical elements indicates the profound impact they had on shaping early human civilization's understanding of power, morality, and the divine. The characteristics of the Nephilim carry significant symbolic and theological implications. They represent the consequences of transgressing divine boundaries and the inherent dangers of mixing the sacred with the profane. Their existence serves as a cautionary tale about the potential for corruption and destruction when divine order is disrupted. Theologically, the Nephilim embody the themes of judgment and redemption. Their presence and actions precipitate the Great Flood, a divine response aimed at purging the earth of the corruption introduced by the Watchers and their offspring. This narrative highlights the severity of divine justice and the necessity of maintaining the sanctity of God's creation. While the canonical and apocryphal texts provide a foundation for understanding the Nephilim, various interpretations and traditions have emerged over time. Some scholars view the Nephilim as purely mythical beings, symbolic of ancient fears and moral lessons. Others consider them historical figures whose stories have been embellished and mythologized. In Christian thought, interpretations of the Nephilim have ranged from literal giants to symbolic representations of evil and apostasy. Early church fathers like Origen and Augustine debated their nature and significance, contributing to a diverse theological discourse that continues to evolve. Modern interpretations often consider the Nephilim within the broader context of biblical typology and eschatology, seeing them as foreshadowing future conflicts between good and evil. The origins and characteristics of the Nephilim are deeply intertwined with the narrative of the fallen angels and their illicit actions. Described as giants with extraordinary physical prowess and profound moral corruption, the Nephilim play a pivotal role in the ancient stories of sin, judgment, and redemption. Their legacy as both revered heroes and feared sources of chaos reflects their complex influence on early human societies and theological thought. The detailed accounts found in Genesis and the Book of Enoch, along with various interpretative traditions, offer a rich tapestry of insights into the nature of the Nephilim. These narratives underscore the importance of maintaining divine order and the severe consequences of transgressing sacred boundaries. As we explore the impact and legacy of the Nephilim in Christian thought, their story continues to provide valuable lessons about the interplay between divine justice, human agency, and the enduring struggle between good and evil. The Nephilim are mentioned explicitly in Genesis chapter 6 verses 1 to 4, a passage that has intrigued theologians, scholars and lay readers for centuries. This brief yet profoundly significant text provides a foundation for understanding the origins and nature of the Nephilim within the biblical context. By examining these verses in detail, we can gain deeper insights into the theological and historical implications of the Nephilim's presence in the biblical narrative. The passage in Genesis chapter 6 verses 1 to 4 reads as follows in the New International Version. When human beings began to increase in number on the earth and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful, and they married any of them they chose. Then the Lord said, "My spirit will not contend with humans forever, for they are mortal. Their days will be 120 years." The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them. They were the heroes of old, men of renown. This passage is dense with meaning and requires careful unpacking to understand its full significance. When human beings began to increase in number on the earth. The opening verse sets the stage by describing a period of rapid population growth among humans. This increase in human numbers creates the context for the subsequent events. The mention of daughters were born to them emphasizes the emergence of women who attract the attention of the sons of God. The sons of God saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful. The phrase sons of God has been interpreted in various ways throughout history. The most common interpretation, supported by ancient Jewish texts like the Book of Enoch and many early Christian writers, is that the sons of God refers to angelic beings. These angels, captivated by the beauty of human women, decide to take them as wives. Alternative interpretations suggest that the sons of God might be the descendants of Seth, the righteous line from Adam, while the daughters of humans are from the line of Cain, known for their wickedness. This view, known as the Sethite interpretation, posits that the passage describes an intermingling of the godly and ungodly lines, leading to moral decay. They married any of them they chose. The union between the sons of God and the daughters of humans is presented as consensual marriages. However, the subsequent divine response suggests that these unions were seen as transgressions against divine order. The choice of words implies an indiscriminate selection, hinting at a disregard for established boundaries. Then the Lord said, "My spirit will not contend with humans forever, for they are mortal. Their days will be 120 years." God's reaction to these unions is one of disapproval. The phrase, "My spirit will not contend with humans forever," indicates a limit to God's patience and a response to the increasing wickedness on earth. The declaration that human lifespan would be limited to 120 years can be interpreted as either a reduction in individual lifespans or a countdown to the impending judgment of the flood. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward. The Nephilim are introduced at this point, described as being present both in those days and also afterward. This indicates that their existence was not confined to the pre-flood period, but persisted into subsequent generations. The term Nephilim is often translated as giants, though its precise meaning remains debated. The root word NPL suggests meanings related to falling, leading some to interpret Nephilim as the fallen ones. When the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them. The text clearly links the Nephilim to the unions between the sons of God and the daughters of humans. These offspring are portrayed as extraordinary beings, distinct from ordinary humans, likely due to their part angelic heritage. Their existence is seen as a direct result of these forbidden unions, underscoring the consequences of transgressing divine boundaries. They were the heroes of old, men of renown. The final part of the passage describes the Nephilim as heroes of old, men of renown. This indicates that they were not only physically powerful but also held a significant place in ancient human history and culture. The term heroes suggests that they were revered, possibly even deified, for their extraordinary abilities. However, their renown is also tinged with the moral corruption and violence they brought to human society. The Genesis account of the Nephilim raises several important theological questions and themes. Divine boundaries. The passage emphasizes the importance of maintaining the distinctions between the divine and human realms. The transgression of these boundaries by the sons of God leads to severe consequences, highlighting the need for obedience to divine order. Human corruption. The presence of the Nephilim and the actions of the sons of God contribute to the growing wickedness on earth. This corruption necessitates divine intervention, setting the stage for the narrative of the flood that follows. Judgment and mercy. God's declaration of limiting human lifespan and the subsequent decision to send the flood reflect both divine judgment and mercy. The limitation of lifespan can be seen as a merciful act to curb human wickedness, while the flood serves as a form of judgment and a means to restore order. Heroic yet fallen. The Nephilim are described as heroes, indicating that their influence was not entirely negative. They were likely seen as formidable and significant figures in ancient societies. However, their fallenness and the chaos they brought underline the complex nature of their legacy. Understanding the Genesis reference to the Nephilim also requires considering the broader ancient Near Eastern context. Similar stories of divine beings intermingling with humans can be found in other ancient mythologies. For instance, the Sumerian epic of Gilgamesh features semi-divine heroes and giants, suggesting that the biblical narrative reflects a wider cultural motif. These parallels indicate that the Genesis account may have been part of a larger tradition of storytelling about divine human interactions and their consequences. The biblical narrative, however, places these stories within a distinct theological framework that emphasizes the sovereignty of God and the moral implications of human actions. Genesis chapter 6 verses 1 to 4 provides a foundational and enigmatic account of the origins of the Nephilim, linking them to the unions between the sons of God and the daughters of humans. This passage is rich with theological and moral implications, highlighting themes of divine order, human corruption, and the complex legacy of the Nephilim as both heroes and sources of chaos. By examining this text in detail, we gain a deeper understanding of the Nephilim's role in biblical tradition and their enduring significance in Christian thought. This narrative sets the stage for exploring the broader impact and legacy of the Nephilim, as well as their place in the ongoing cosmic struggle between good and evil. The Nephilim, despite their relatively brief mention in the Bible, have had a profound and lasting impact on Christian thought. Their enigmatic presence in the Scriptures, coupled with their association with fallen angels and pre-flood corruption, has inspired a wide range of interpretations and theological reflections throughout the history of Christianity. This section explores the multifaceted legacy of the Nephilim, examining their influence on biblical exegesis, theological discourse, and cultural representations. The early church fathers and biblical scholars were among the first to grapple with the implications of the Nephilim narrative. Their interpretations set the stage for subsequent theological developments and influenced how later generations of Christians would understand these mysterious beings. The presence of the Nephilim in Genesis chapter 6 verses 1 to 4 raised important questions about the nature of divine human interactions and the boundaries between the spiritual and material realms. Early Christian thinkers, such as Origen and Augustine, discussed the implications of angelic beings intermingling with humans. Origen, in his work against Celsus, suggested that the term sons of God could refer to angelic beings, aligning with the interpretation found in the Book of Enoch. Augustine, in his City of God, explored the moral and theological consequences of the Nephilim narrative, He debated whether the sons of God were indeed angels or the descendants of Seth, the righteous line. Augustine ultimately leaned towards the Sethite interpretation, seeing the passage as an allegory for the mingling of the godly and ungodly lines which led to moral corruption. However, he acknowledged the alternative view of angelic beings and did not dismiss it outright. The Nephilim were often used symbolically to represent the consequences of apostasy and the dangers of deviating from divine order. Early Christian writers saw in the Nephilim a cautionary tale about the dangers of pride, rebellion, and moral decay. Their immense stature and strength were seen as physical manifestations of their inner corruption and the disruptive potential of transgressing divine boundaries. The Church Fathers also emphasized the role of the Nephilim in the broader narrative of divine judgment. Their existence and actions contributed to the wickedness that necessitated the flood, symbolizing the inevitable consequences of unchecked sin and rebellion. This interpretation reinforced the importance of maintaining moral integrity and adhering to divine commandments. During the medieval period, Christian scholars continued to explore the nature and significance of the Nephilim. The rise of scholasticism, with its emphasis on reason and systematic theology, brought new insights and debates about these enigmatic figures. Thomas Aquinas, one of the most influential medieval theologians, addressed the nature of angels and their potential interactions with humans in his Summa Theologica. Although Aquinas did not focus extensively on the Nephilim, his detailed analysis of angelology provided a framework for understanding the theological implications of angelic beings engaging with the material world. Aquinas argued that angels, as pure spirits, could assume physical forms and interact with humans, but he was cautious about attributing physical procreation to them. He suggested that the narratives involving angelic beings and human women could be understood allegorically or symbolically, reflecting deeper spiritual truths about the nature of sin and divine judgment. Medieval Christian thought also engaged with apocryphal and pseudepigraphal texts that expanded on the Nephilim narrative. Works such as the Book of Jubilees and the Book of Giants, part of the Dead Sea Scrolls, provided additional details about the origins, actions, and eventual destruction of the Nephilim. These texts influenced medieval Christian demonology and the understanding of fallen angels. They reinforced the view that the Nephilim were not merely mythological figures, but represented real spiritual and moral threats that required divine intervention. The stories of the Nephilim contributed to the broader Christian narrative of cosmic conflict between good and evil, highlighting the need for vigilance and adherence to divine law. The Reformation period brought renewed interest in biblical exegesis and a return to the original texts of Scripture. Protestant reformers like Martin Luther and John Calvin engaged with the Nephilim narrative, emphasizing the authority of the Bible and seeking to reconcile it with their theological principles. Martin Luther viewed the Nephilim as literal giants who represented the extreme wickedness and corruption of the pre-flood world. He saw their existence as a testament to the consequences of human sin and divine judgment. Luther's interpretation aligned with a literal reading of Genesis, emphasizing the historicity of the biblical narrative and the reality of divine intervention. John Calvin, while acknowledging the literal interpretation, also explored the allegorical significance of the Nephilim. He suggested that the term sons of God could refer to the godly descendants of Seth, whose intermarriage with the ungodly descendants of Cain led to moral decay. Calvin's interpretation focused on the spiritual lessons of the narrative, emphasizing the dangers of compromising one's faith and mingling with corrupt influences. In the modern era, the Nephilim continue to captivate the imagination of theologians, scholars, and the general public. Advances in biblical scholarship, archaeology, and cultural studies have brought new insights and interpretations. Contemporary theologians often explore the Nephilim narrative within the broader context of biblical typology and eschatology. Some view the Nephilim as symbolic of the ultimate conflict between good and evil, with their destruction foreshadowing the final judgment and restoration of divine order. The Nephilim are also discussed in the context of spiritual warfare, with their existence seen as part of the ongoing cosmic battle between the forces of light and darkness. This perspective emphasizes the relevance of the Nephilim narrative for understanding contemporary spiritual challenges and the need for vigilance and faithfulness. The Nephilim have left a lasting legacy in popular culture, inspiring numerous works of literature, film and art. Their depiction as giants, fallen heroes or supernatural beings has fueled the imagination of writers and artists, contributing to a rich tapestry of myth and legend. In modern fiction, the Nephilim often appear as powerful and mysterious figures, blending elements of horror, fantasy and science fiction. Their story resonates with contemporary themes of transgression, power and the consequences of moral choices. Archaeological discoveries and historical research have also contributed to the ongoing interest in the Nephilim. Some researchers seek to identify historical parallels or evidence for the existence of giant beings in ancient cultures. These investigations, while often speculative, reflect the enduring fascination with the Nephilim and their place in the human imagination. The impact and legacy of the Nephilim in Christian thought are profound and multifaceted. From early biblical exegesis and theological reflections to their influence on medieval scholarship and modern popular culture, the Nephilim have left an indelible mark on the Christian imagination. Their story serves as a powerful symbol of the consequences of transgressing divine boundaries and the enduring struggle between good and evil. The Nephilim narrative, with its themes of divine judgment, moral corruption, and the interplay between the spiritual and material realms, continues to inspire and challenge believers. It invites reflection on the nature of sin, the importance of obedience to God's will, and the ultimate hope of redemption and restoration. As we explore the Nephilim's legacy, we gain a deeper appreciation for the richness of the biblical tradition and its relevance for understanding the complexities of the human condition and the cosmic drama of salvation. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the mysteries of the Knights Templar. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up. Your support helps reveal more hidden truths. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode as we uncover more of the Templar's secrets. Together we'll continue to explore the past and unlock its hidden revelations. See you in the next chapter.